country has no other choice but to comply with the law.
Mr. Ewa, so what if government was to seek parliamentary approval and keep the detainees in the country? How would you react to that as well?
I didn't hear you on that.
I'm saying that government has 3 months to take this matter before Parliament. So if Parliament approves that they stay in the country, what would your reaction be to that?
My reaction will be the law has been complied with. Okay. You see, ultimate or overriding principle in looking at these matters by Parliament is the issue as to whether or not it's in conformity with the interest of the country. Parliament would engage in a debate, and I would expect that they will be guided by the need to ensure that the interest of Ghana prevails. Once they think that it is in the interest of Ghana to admit them, after all, we're the ones who voted them to go and make decisions on our behalf. And we voted for them based on the fact that we believe in their competence, and indeed their judgment. And so if it's their judgment that the stay of the two gentlemen in this country will be in the interest of the country, so be it. I mean, our focal interest was to ensure that our constitution was respected, the rule of law prevailed, and that's what we have achieved, and I'm extremely grateful and satisfied.
All right, many thanks for your time here. Lawyer Bafo Ewa is the lawyer for the plaintiffs in this matter, and he was actually hoping that the Supreme Court will declare as unconstitutional former President Mahama's decision to give these ex-Gitmo Guantanamo ex-Gitmo detainees permission to stay in this country. You're watching Joy News Desk with me, Benes Abubedu. We'll take a quick break. We'll bring you more stories. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying here on Joy News Desk. Now back to that matter where the Supreme Court gave a ruling yesterday that former President Mahama erred in accepting 2 ex-Gitmo detainees to stay in the country because he did not get parliamentary approval. Then this current executive has 3 months to bring the ratification to Parliament for approval. Let's go onto the line and speak with international relations analyst Adib Sani. Good morning, Mr. Sani. Thanks for your time.
Good morning.
Now, so how will this decision potentially affect the relationship between Ghana and the USA?
I would rate it as minimal because we are a country that is founded on strong democratic tenets. We have procedures and processes to go through when you are going into such international agreements. And the U.S., especially a country that is championing the rule of law all across the globe, shouldn't have qualms with what our institutions, as it were, say otherwise. Indeed, this was a decision arrived by the Supreme Court, which to a very large extent is independent of the executive, and what they're saying is the way and manner in which they were brought into the country was absolutely flawed. So they are not asking that we return them to wherever they came from, but rather it has to be recourse to the law. So we've been asked to bring the issue before Parliament, which is supposed to vote, and majority to first decision on it would legitimize their stay in the country. So far as I'm concerned, and from all the information I have gathered, it shouldn't have any issues. I mean, we shouldn't have any issues with the U.S. with regard to that, because this is an institutional decision that has been taken and not an individual decision, perhaps based on his whims and caprices.
All right, I appreciate your response, but in the case where the matter is sent to Parliament and Parliament decides not to permit these 2 to stay in the country any longer, will that affect our relationship with the U.S.?
Well, in international politics, anytime you're going into an agreement with another country, because we are in a globalized village and no country can live independently. We depend on each other for trade, for commerce, etc. Okay, but when you are going into international agreements, we have some clauses that you would have to agree on before you append your signature to it. But usually it is not absolute. It is subject to change. So far as I'm concerned, the whole issue surrounding the Gitmo relocation is subject to change. Indeed, Ghana is not the only country we have had, ex-detainees coming into. A lot of other countries across the world, including major European countries, have accepted some of these ex-detainees. So should we decide that, fine, this is not the way for us to go as a country, they have to go back, it is as simple as speaking at the highest level with the U.S. Embassy, so they would find a way of relocating them. But you see, the issue of relocating these ex-detainees to other countries came up as a result of the fact that during the height of the 2001 crisis or war in Afghanistan, we had the coalition forces led by the U.S. dropping leaflets all over Afghanistan, especially the Helmand province area, calling on people with information on the activities of Taliban to divulge it for money. So it gave rise to what we call the bounty hunters. And because of the economic nature or situation of the Helmand province, it gave rise to so many bounty hunters who wouldn't hesitate, giving out even innocent people. So you have so many innocent people who were detained. Most of them were not charged. And these two ex-detainees were not even found guilty by a competent court of jurisdiction on any terrorism charges. So indeed, they are not convicted terrorists. They are only ex-detainees. So it is very normal that should we decide we don't need them here, it's as simple as reaching out to the Americans so they would find a way of relocating them to other countries. But the problem is they've not been able to send them back to their original countries, mostly as a result of the fact that some of them have bad human rights records. Others are also embroiled in civil wars, etc. Like in Yemen, where one of the detainees is coming from. We know what is happening in Yemen between the Houthis and the Sunnis supported by UAE, Saudi, etc. So it wouldn't be appropriate to send them back into those countries, but to relocate them to other countries as well.
In a statement released by government indicating its commitment to follow the orders of the Supreme Court, they also state in there that these two have comported themselves so far, but despite that, do you still see, or do you see any security implications for us as a country? I mean, their presence here.
So far as I'm concerned, there's no immediate security threat to the country as a result of their being in the country right now, because factually speaking, no ex-Guantanamo detainee released and living abroad has ever engaged in any act of terrorism so far as we are concerned. And currently, our biggest threat is Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, which has vowed to attack Western interests in the West African sub-region. We have also the Ansar Sharia, Ansar Din. But when you look closely, they have absolutely no link with either of the two ex-detainees in the country. And I don't see them engaging in any act of terrorism because of the presence of these two. So far as I'm concerned, no, it doesn't pose any immediate security threat.
Many thanks for your time. Adib Sani is an international relations expert and a security analyst as well.